Assalamualaikum people. My name is Dr. Sabi Ahmed. My channel name is SA Updates. Today I am going to tell you the story of the dollar. The dollar, which we know now, was not dominant from the initial time. The dollar was the regular currency of America, like rupees for Pakistan or euro for any European country, and like any other country. It was just a regular currency for our country. How did dollar became the most dominant currency in this world? Today I'm going to tell you about that. So the story starts. Paper currency was invented by the Chinese in the Tang dynasty, which lasted from 618 after death to 907 after death. It was also called flying currency and properly so perhaps because the currency was made up of paper and could fly around, and similar is the case today. Like, it's the paper currencies just goes away. It's like in seconds it is in your hands, and the other second it is gone out of your hands. So the true first printing press was invented in 1875. There were presses before, but that were not very good at printing purposes. The first true press was invented in 1875, and who would have thought and predicted that this will one day become the biggest weapon manufacturing machine of the world? Why did I say that? Because it's the press, it's the printing machine that prints dollar. And in this world, almost everything can be bought with a price tag. Everything in this world has a price tag. Now, every weapon has a price tag. This is the power of currency. You shall remember these seven people for the whole of your life. These were the seven bankers who came up with the idea to introduce the paper currency bill, which was known as Federal Reserve Bill. The names are Paul Warburg, Nelson Eldridge, Frank Vanderlip, Benjamin Strong, Henry Davidson, Charles Norton, and Andrews. These were the seven bankers who, on 13th of December 1910, in South Georgia, these seven bankers who owed, by the way, one fourth of the wealth of the world at that time, decided to push forward the Federal Reserve Bill in the Congress. Just imagine it. These seven bankers who were holding one quarter of the wealth of the whole of the world push forward the Federal Reserve Bill in the Congress. But it was rejected by the Congress in 1910. Why it was rejected? Because the Congress could see that the bankers, at that time, bankers were not considered good people, and bankers were, if bankers presented a bill, everybody thought that it must be something wrong with this bill. That's why they are presenting this bill. So they designed a strategy. They added some clause in the bill. They bought up some other bankers Those other bankers spoke against this bill and they tricked the Congress. This bill was presented in the Congress again in 1913. This time the Congress thought that it must be something good for the economy as the bankers are against it. And also there were clauses present in that bill that the Congress could control the Federal Reserve Bill. So this bill was passed in 1913 and the president of the America, I think it was Harry, who signed that bill. So in 1913 the Federal Reserve Bill became the part of American Constitution. According to the Federal Reserve Bill, America will have a Federal Reserve Bank called a central bank. The government, if they needed money, it will ask the Federal Reserve Bank for that money. The Federal Reserve Bank will issue a check to the Department of Treasury, which we know as State Department of Treasury, which will then print the money that is being issued by the Federal Reserve Bank, and that money will be given by to the government. But after some time, few clauses were removed that were removed from the bill, and the Federal Reserve Bank and the State Department of Treasury became an independent institution. Even if the government orders the Federal Reserve Bank, they can decline. Even if the government orders the State of Treasury to print the dollars, they can just say no to that. That was how strong the Federal Reserve Bank and the Department of Treasury became, because they were independent. And then came the second move. Till World War II, 1945, every currency should be backed by gold. That means that if you have like 1 kilogram of gold, you can print uh, money equal to the amount of 1 kilogram of gold. If you print more money, the value of your money will decrease as the amount of gold is fixed and you are printing out more money. For example, if you have 100 kilogram of gold and you have 100 $1 notes, then the price of $1 note is equal to 1 kilogram of gold. But if there were 200 $1 notes, then the price of $1 note will be half kilogram of gold price. But it was about to change. In 1945, Bretton Woods Agreement was signed, and according to this agreement, every country would have a central bank. Like America, whose central bank is the Federal Reserve Bank, every country in this world will have a central bank. And guess what? What will be their reserve currency? Not the currency of that country, but dollar. Dollar will be the currency of the central bank of each and every country in this world. This agreement is known as Bretton Woods Agreement, and it was signed in 1945 because the Allied forces won and the defeated side was made to sign this agreement. So dollar basically became the reserve currency of each and every country of on the face of the earth except for six countries: Libya, Afghanistan, Cuba, Iraq, Iran, and I'm forgetting about one more country, but just look at what happened to them. Iraq, America conquered it. Iran, sanctions are being put on it. Cuba, what happened to Cuba? You all know that. Then Libya, what happened to Libya? We all know. And after this, Afghanistan. Afghanistan basically is the only country that doesn't had the central bank, but now even the after the Americans are being defeated, they have established the central bank of Afghanistan. It might change in the future, but at the present time of this video, Afghanistan has a central bank, and guess what? Its its reserve currency is dollar. And the third point was dollar was interchangeable with gold. Like you could change dollars for gold. Dollar was the currency for trade. Why? Nobody knows the answer for this question. But here came the third point and the most dominant point, perhaps, in the dominance of the dollar. On 15th of August 1971, a French ship sailed to America expecting to exchange dollars for gold, but something else was being planned by President Nixon. President Nixon put a temporary ban on interconvertibility of dollar and gold. He just passed a presidential ordinance that stated that dollar cannot be converted to gold and gold cannot be converted to dollar. This was the third strike. What did it mean? That dollar didn't need the backing of gold anymore. Dollar became static. You can think of it as like dollar is the sun and every other currency is like the planets. Every other currency revolves around the dollar, like the planets revolve around the earth. This was the most lethal of the strikes. And to everyone's surprise, this ban is still valid up till now. To now, on the day I speak, this ban is still valid. So this means that dollar didn't need backing of any gold. In other words, dollar is invincible. Dollar's value cannot be devalued. Dollar is the reserve currency of every country in this world except one country. I am forgetting the name. Dollar is the currency of trade. Whenever government wants to pay a debt, it asks the Federal Reserve Bank for the money. And what does the Federal Reserve Bank do? It asks the Department of Treasury. Basically, the State of Treasury Department is just like a printing press. It just prints dollars, trillions of dollars out of thin air. It doesn't have to have code in order to print dollars. They can print trillions of dollars, and the value of dollar will remain constant. Why? Because of the step that President Nixon took in 1971. Just imagine it. America can order its federal bank to print $7 trillion, and the Treasury Department will print $7 trillion, and the value of dollar will not change even a single bit. That is the power of the dollar today. But that's not all. I told you before, the Federal Reserve Bank and Treasury Department are independent institutions. Even the government cannot control them. If the government asks them to print dollars, they can just decline. So basically, the Federal Reserve Bank and the Treasury Departments are the two strongest institutions on the face of this earth. If you want me to continue with the story, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know. If I get maybe 1,000 likes, maybe 100 comments or requests, I will make another video. I want to know that you people are interested in this video. For your fun, I have created few slides. This is just a funny slide showing the power of dollar, that dollar is invincible, and that's, by the way, correct. Dollar is king. Yes, for sure it is, because its value cannot be changed. Even you print at $10 trillion, the value of dollar will be fixed. So, if you want me to continue, please let me know in the comment box. Like this video if I get 1,000 likes and I get like 100 comments. I will make the part 2, and I will continue the story and tell you about the 2008 recession, this coronavirus thing, the banking system, the cryptocurrency, what is cryptocurrency, why America invented it, what were the tries to destroy the banking system, where are the central banks of these banks of the world. I will continue with the story. Just let me know if you want to hear that story. Thank you.